Hi, Meredydd here. There have been some questions on the forums, so today I'm going to walk you through how to use a drop-down component to choose rows from a data table. Let's imagine we're creating a suggestion box app. So every suggestion is going to be in one of a number of categories, and so we're going to have a table for all the possible categories. Each category is going to have a name, and they're going to be things like a comment or criticism or a warning. Now, this is absolutely not confidential data. Indeed, it's going to need to be read by the client to give you a drop-down to select from these, so I'm going to make it accessible for form code. Okay, we also have a table for all the suggestions. Now, these will have the text of the suggestion, but they'll also be linked to a category, and that's how we represent which category each suggestion's in. So just to give you an example of how this works, the floor is too slippery, and this is in the category of a warning. And that's how this is going to be represented. Okay, and so the question now is how to build a user interface that lets you enter and edit data shaped like that. So let's put the components down. We're of course going to want a text editor, text area to edit the actual suggestion. And we're going to want a drop-down to choose the category. And then we're going to want a save button. Right, so what we want to do is make the items in this category drop-down represent each of the rows in this category table. And we do this in code, in the constructor, and we go category drop-down items. Now, we're not going to just give it a list of strings, we're going to be a bit more clever. We're going to, for each element in each row in the table, we're going to give it a tuple of two things. The first half of this tuple is what to display for this choice in the drop-down. So in this case, we'd want to display the name of the category. And the second is what value to represent that choice by. So this is going to be the row object itself. So we're going to display the name of each category, but the selected value in the category drop-down is going to be the row itself. So when we click this save button, this means that we can create the link in our data tables really easily. If we go to the suggestion table, make it writable directly by the client for the time being. So when this button gets clicked, we can take apptables.suggestions and just add a row. Now we can fill the text out fairly easily with the text from the suggestion box. And to fill out the category, we couldn't fill this out with a string because this column is supposed to take a row from the categories table. That's how we create the link. But because we've done this tuple trick when setting the items for the category drop-down, we can just take the selected value from this drop-down, and that will be this row object from the categories table. So when we hit save, we go back to the data table, we can see we have created the link as we intended to. Now, of course, in Anvil, you can pass row objects from client to server and server to client. So if we want to make this more secure and stop this table being accessible directly from client code, we can just write a server module and we can do exactly the same thing. So let's make a function for adding a suggestion. And again, it will take the text and it will take the category. We'll do apptables.suggestions add row, text was passed in, and the category being the category passed in. And because we've made this inaccessible from client code, now the only thing that the client code can do with the suggestions table is call this function to add a new row to it, which is a lot safer than giving any random visitor the ability to edit or delete rows in that table, or even see what other people have said. So, when this button gets clicked, we can't add the row directly. we have to call that server function we've created. And for the text, we can do the same thing. We pass in the suggestion text. And for the category, we can do exactly the same thing. We can pull out the selected value from the dropdown, and that row object will be passed to the server where it can be used here to create a link in the database. So let's show that in operation. And we can see we're still creating those links as we were expecting to. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more tutorials, check out anvil.works/learn. I shall see you next time.